Nathan, what did you make tonight? What was your thoughts on the performance from Arsenal away in Spain?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good performance, to be fair, in terms of we rotated the squad. I think the likes of Kivior, Calafiori, Jorginho came in, Sterling started. So, and Girona are, they've got a small stadium. I watched their game against Liverpool. They made it difficult. They defended numbers, low block. So, to go there and having gone down, I mean, Neto is, I think I spoke about the signing of Neto to begin with originally and how it seems like Arteta never wanted him to begin with. And we could see that from the first goal. I mean, he's a no man's land. And the fact that he even attempts a dive is comedic in itself. Yeah, it was horrible. Partey at right back. I mean, we've talked about that many times. He shouldn't be played there. And it's a bit frustrating because it's one of the few positions in our squad where we're actually quite stacked in. I mean, when the numbers are there, you've got 4 or 5 players that can play there. You've got, Tomiyasu, Ben White, Timber. And unfortunately, we've just been hit with injury. So Partey's playing there. And obviously, he got caught out for the first goal. But again, I mean, he redeemed himself by winning back the penalty. Jorginho coolly slotting. And then obviously, Ethan Nwanieri, coming in and showing his quality. I mean, the kid is real quality. I mean, he plays with a level of maturity that you don't really expect from a 17-year-old. He's really calm, composed, doesn't force passes, got a bit of flair. Technically he's sound, and that goal was outstandingly taken, and it was beautifully struck shot, and it's a quality that we lack in this Arsenal team. We haven't got many players that can strike the ball from outside the box and give teams danger. We're a team that tried to walk the ball into net almost, and maybe barring Saka and occasionally Trossard, there's no one that's really willing to pop a shot, and it's just refreshing to see. I thought Sterling today. I mean, I came on here a few weeks back when we had last week actually when we had our Champions League game, and I'm not in any way saying Sterling's the answer because he's not. But I talked about platforming players and putting them in the best conditions to shine. And I thought he was a lot better on the left-hand side than he is on the right-hand side. And today we saw a bit more of something. I think throughout his time at Arsenal, I don't think we've seen anything of note from Sterling. And today he was a bit more unpredictable. He's a bit more of a handful. He was running at players. He was cutting in. He was cutting out. He was cutting inside, going down the byline. And, it was just a shame that the penalty miss at the end was kind of like a sour end to what was a quite positive performance for him, in my opinion. I thought Calafiori is growing in confidence. I mean, I love the way he takes the ball and just runs into midfield. I think he's got a real confidence about him in terms of carrying that ball. And it's a quality that you need in teams. You need players that are brave on the ball, that are willing to kind of that will kind of help break down lower mid blocks, because it draws players to you. It means they can't stay in that formation, so to speak. They've got to kind of come out to the ball, and it opened up positions, and it was nice to see. And all in all, man, I thought it was a controlled professional performance. The football looked better, looked a lot more fluid, and it's all about results at this stage of the season. And to take that into the City game is massive, and especially with the side being rotated. And all in all, good performance.
By the way, while you were talking, because I saw your note in the comments, I now get what the
format
the format looks like. I get what so there is a draw, but it's the draw which one of those. So it is right about City that it will either be Real Madrid or Bayern Munich for them. That's basically it. So that is, I get it now. So someone just sent me something and I read it really quickly while you were talking. I'm like, that's actually quite cool. And you said with Arsenal, it's going to be Milan, PSV, Feyenoord or Juve, and again, I think that's a good draw. Like for you, I know that PSV have caused a few teams problems this year. Feyenoord, Juve, like out of all the teams you could get, you should be quite not overlooking them, but confident of getting through and into the quarterfinals. Really.
Yeah, 100%. I think you've got to be confident when you look at the teams that you could play. I mean, we could be in a situation like a City where you're forced to play, Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. I mean, looking at those lineups, they're quite favourable. I think on paper, Feyenoord looks like the easiest one, but in fact, I probably think at this moment of time, it's probably the most difficult. I think they've given teams more more of a difficult run at the moment in terms of performances wise. I mean, Juventus have looked quite shoddy this season. Milan are a bit of an iffy team.
That's the most difficult one out of them. For
No,
you
I'm not
specifically
saying.
as an Arsenal fan, you want to know why? Because you know your club more than me. You find it really difficult to break down low blocks, and you know Juventus is about to play a low block from hell. So you're gonna really struggle in that right there. Counter attack football that they play is gonna be a problem for you.
But do you think that's? I mean, Thiago Motta is more of a progressive coach. So had this been maybe an Allegri, a more Italian coach, I'd probably be a lot more worried in regards to Juventus. But
he's a progressive coach, but he showed his versatility against Man City. He's willing to park the bus when need be. Like, I'm telling you from now, that's going to be like facing Atletico. I'm not even exaggerating. I didn't want them for my own club either. I didn't want to face Juve because Juve is going to be difficult always for anyone. You go to that stadium as well, right there in Italy, 80,000, Juventus fans. It's that game is not going to be easy right there. So,
but yeah, I mean, it's interesting as well. Looking at it now, say whatever team Arsenal gets, say they get through that and then they get themselves into the quarterfinals. Looking at the draw, if they make the quarterfinals, Arsenal, and say if the best current teams in the league format are the ones that make it to that stage, it's either going to be Athletic or Bayer Leverkusen. So, in terms of by the time you get to the quarterfinals, the best two teams possible that Arsenal can play is Athletic and Bayer Leverkusen. And Athletic, listen, that's very hard. Diego Simeone, that team, that club, that manager is so well versed in this tournament. Bayer Leverkusen, very good team, but I found them at times in Europe to be quite naive. So, look, I'm by no means overlooking anyone that Arsenal can play. I don't believe in doing that. But it shows that coming third could be beneficial to Arsenal, which is why I like this format, because it feels like typically the higher up you finish, the harder you try to win. For Arsenal at least, it shows a decent run potentially to a quarterfinal or a semi-final, but obviously a long way to go.
And It's a reward for it's you're rewarded for your endeavors in the league, isn't it, so to speak. So had we faltered, we would have been matched up with more difficult teams, and
As for Arsenal's game today, Terry, can I talk about that now? Or
yeah, go for it, bro. Go for
it. Ethan is special. This kid is special. At the age of 17, he's already 2 goal contributions off Cesc Fabregas's total when he was 17. He's developing quite quickly already, and his first Premier League start. His first Premier League start, if I'm not mistaken, he scored. If I'm not mistaken, he scored in his first start for Arsenal in the League Cup. And a brace actually, and now he scored a goal in his first Champions League start. This guy is scoring goals. He's contributing. He's helping up the pitch, and he's giving confidence to a lot of young kids that are special, also wanting to sign for Arsenal, because the Norwegian wonder kid wants to sign for Arsenal. It's between Arsenal and Girona. If he sees that, he should see Mazu, Skelly, and Ethan and be like, "Hey, I'm good enough. I'm going to get myself into this team." And it is very, very positive signs. As for Neto, I'm somebody who's going to give people a break sometimes, but Neto, he's not played all season. But that guy, from his first chance to save a goal, he's outside of the box and he's trying to save a goal and actually try to dive for the ball outside of the box. That right there should have been termination if he got a red card and got sent off from there. Because he's a cup keeper who doesn't play in the cups, and there's a reason why. He's not good enough to play in these cup games. We weren't going to win anything if he's playing. So fair play to Arteta to play Raya for majority of the season, and now I understand why he played Raya. Calafiori and Gabriel Magalhaes might be our best finishers at the club, and their defenders. What else is there? I feel sorry for Raheem Sterling. I thought he had a relatively decent game, and to miss the penalty, it wasn't even a bad penalty, and Jorginho should have taken the penalty versus Manchester United in the FA Cup at home, not Martin Odegaard. That guy's a world-class penalty taker, and yeah, pretty much confident in the team playing versus Man City now in the league, because if Man City look this vulnerable, we should be able to take advantage of them at home. And we now look ahead to the next game. And Mikel Arteta, in his last 100 games, only 13 defeats. So I'm very confident.
Yeah, look, you're listen. I actually think it wasn't like a scintillating performance from yourselves tonight, because there wasn't a lot riding on the game. Considering the rotation, I thought Arsenal did quite well. And yeah, I think you should have a level of confidence going into this City game. Not arrogance, not complacency, but I think you should have, because City are still, and I know City fans hate hearing it, everybody's able to run through them. It's whether or not you capitalize on that. And the one thing you have to your advantage compared to Chelsea at the weekend is that defensively you're typically a lot better and a lot more solid. So I'm really excited about that game, to be fair with you. Hamza,
Let's say one more thing.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
There was people, Terry, when the league phase came out saying, "Oh, Arsenal somehow they're going to get knocked out," making jokes about Arsenal. Now, 8 games, 6 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. I think we've earned a little bit of respect from some of the people that
you did good. You did better than I thought. Yes, yeah, I'll admit that 100%.
Third in the Champions League is no joke.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Jan says, Nwaneri, what a footballer, what a performance. The next big thing. Did not know he was this good of a player. When you Tevin, when you see that, do you think it's important though to not start overplaying him at 17?
100%, 100%. It's why, we've been calling for him to start either on the right wing, whatever. In my opinion, it was always, let's take our time and bet this guy in, simply because we see the quality, we know how good he is. But to start relying on him in the pressurized environment that is Arsenal right now, let him play football, let him enjoy the game, and not have to worry about the pressure as yet. Let him grow as a footballer, as I'm growing to a man, as a player, before start worrying about the mental side of it. And we already see the quality. We already see the shot he has, the close control, the movement. He is an elite talent. But on the mental side of it, we don't need to pressure this guy. We don't need to have another Fabregas on our hands where he turned around and he was like, this is too much. We don't need to have another Saka where he starts breaking down physically. Let's bet Skelly's the same thing.
You are spot on. And do you know what's really interesting? People often go, well, Wayne Rooney was that. When Man United bought Wayne Rooney, actually, if you look at his early years at Everton, he wasn't playing week in, week out as a starter. And when he came to Man United, he was starting games. But he was the big young star. But that team had Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand and Ruud van Nistelrooy, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs. He wasn't the star. I think the worst
supplement.
Yeah, he was. And that's what Nwanieri should be. He should be part of the attack and part of that group. But I think one thing Arsenal fans should be pushing for your club to do, yourself should do it, but your club is use him regularly but sparingly at the same time. So have him in most matchday squads, coming on from the bench, starting here, starting there. The whole idea of our next season, let's get him starting 40, 50 games. I just feel that might be, especially if you would go out. I mean, look, the news has just come out that Duran is here we go. I'm actually so annoyed at Duran going to Saudi. He'll get great money and fair play. I just think so young to be leaving European football. And I don't mean that
more of a reason. Isn't that more of a reason? Don't you think? Isn't that more of a reason to do it while you're young and then you have
no?
Actually, you know what? Think real quick. Nothing's guaranteed in football or life, right?
Correct.
What if you want to secure yourself financially very early?
I understand that. I understand. So financial, like I said, financially, boom. However, the level of football over there is low compared to 90% of the top European leagues.
Yeah,
you might find that he doesn't develop now and reach his full potential as a football player. If for instance, if Nwanieri now went and played football for the next 4 years in League One in England, he would be a very different player to staying in the Premier League or going to League R or going to La Liga, because it's about what you play against. It's it's sharpening each other. I
think the mistake we're making. Sorry, just the thing. We're under the assumption that he cares about that. A lot of people that have come from certain countries, certain continents, right?
That not enough clubs went for him.
What their number one concern is their family, is setting up their futures financially secure for the rest of their life.
Go get your bag.
It's probably just a job, and he doesn't care where he kicks ball. I mean, as fans, we're all passionate about being the best. We want our players to have that level of ambition. But if you look at it as just a job, then this you go to where you're paid the most.
No, I respect that opinion, and I always have done, and I understand it. I really, really
I agree
do.
with you on a footballing level. I agree.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by this young man. And the thing is, I know that there's a lot of pushing and a lot of marketing and PR around the Saudi league. It's everywhere. But let's all be honest, how many people are watching it? Who knows, other than you, Steve, but you watch every game of football. It's not getting the eyes he'll be a player that in 18 months, everyone will go, oh, I remember him. And I feel sad about it. I thought I was annoyed from a footballing point of view when Oscar went to China. And it's like, we never saw him again. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that.